Hey, the other day we read the Declaration of Independence with the grievances that the men had against the king, King George. Today I'm reading the Declaration of Sentiments, and this is the grievances of the women. Now, some of these things have been resolved. Actually, it says there was 12 resolutions passed in some of the women's grievances, like not being able to vote and stuff. So I'm gonna read them anyway, but they did work some of it out. Okay, this came from the Women's Rights Convention, 1848. The history of mankind is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations on the part of man towards woman, having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over her, and to prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has not permitted her to exercise her inalienable right to the elective franchise. He has compelled her to submit to laws in the formation of which she has no voice. He has withheld from her rights, which are given to the most ignorant and degraded men, natives and foreigners. Having deprived her of this right of a citizen, the elective franchise, thereby leaving her without representation in the halls of legislation, he has he has oppressed her on all sides. He has made her, if married in the eyes of the law, civilly dead. He has taken from her all rights and property, even to the wages she earns. He has made her morally irresponsible being. She can commit many crimes with impunity, provided that they're done in the presence of her husband. And in the covenant of marriage, she is compelled to promise obedience to her husband, he becoming, with to all intents and purpose, master over her, the law giving him power to deprive her of liberty and administer chastisement. He has so framed the laws of divorce so as to what be the proper causes and cases of separation, whom the guardianship of the children is given to be regardless of the happiness of the women. The law, in all cases, going upon a false supposition of the supremacy of man and giving power into his hands. After depriving her of all rights as a married woman, if single, and the owner of property, he has taxed her to support a government which recognizes her only when her property can be made profitable to it. He has monopolized nearly all the profitable employments, and from those she is permitted to follow, she receives but scanty remuneration. He closes against her all avenues to wealth, distinctions which he considers most honorable to himself, and as a teacher of theology, medicine, or law, she is not known. He denied her the facilities for obtaining a thorough education, all colleges being closed against her. He allows her in the church as well as the state, but only a subordinate position, claiming apostolic authority for her exclusion from the ministry, with some exceptions from any public participation in the affairs of the church. He has created a false public sentiment by giving to the world a different code of morals for men and women, by which moral delinquencies which exclude women from society are not only tolerated but deemed of little account in man. He has usurped the prerogative of Jehovah himself, claiming it as his right to assign for her a sphere of action that when that belongs to her conscience and her God. He has endeavored in every way that he could, so to destroy her confidence in her own powers, to lessen her self respect, and make her willing to lead a dependent and abject life. Now, in the view of this entire disfranchisement of one half of the people of this country, their social, religious degradation, in view of the unjust laws above mentioned, and because women do feel themselves aggrieved, depressed, and fraudulently deprived of their most sacred rights, we insist that they immediately we insist that they have immediate admission to the rights and privileges that belong to them as United States citizens. In entering upon the great work before us, we anticipate no small amount of misconceptions, misrepresentations, and ridicule, but we shall use every instrumentality within our powers to effect our object. We shall employ agents, circulate tracts, petition the state, national legislatures, and endeavor to enlist the pulpit and press in our behalf. We hope this convention will be followed by a series of conventions embracing every part of the country. Resolved that woman is man's equal. Was intended to be so by the Creator, and the highest good of the race demands that she should be recognized as such. Resolved that it is the duty of women of this country to secure to themselves their sacred right to the elective franchise. You guys can see what I'm reading from. And again, resolved. Okay, thanks, y'all.